It was a day like any other, except that I had a hard time organizing a garage sale. Despised those sales and would have preferred to just throw everything. But my wife insisted on it. Despite not needing the money, I offered to donate the proceeds to our children's school, where she was an active member of the parents' committee. His dedication to the PDA mirrored my dedication to my car. As long as it's either in an Amica in the backyard, getting ready for marathon training on Sunday, I realized that Sunday was an important day for me. I usually ran between 18 and 24 miles, leaving me exhausted for the rest of the day. At night, when the temperature dropped, I cleaned my Mustang G2. My garage was spotless. The floors so clean you could eat on them, and there was even a TV inside. A young couple appeared out of nowhere. The man asked about the price of the two-screen video master excitation system, and he questioned whether he had made a mistake by listing it for $50 instead of $500. I quickly corrected it, telling him that the price was effectively $50 and non-negotiable. He seemed doubtful and asked if it worked. I assured him that it was practically used, but in perfect condition. He asked me why I was selling it at such a low price, and sighed, annoyed by this common aspect of garage sales. I invited him to sit down, and he offered him a beer while I told him a story about how video games almost ruined my life. My name is Perry Tyler. I graduated from the University of Michigan with a degree in manufacturing technology. I am currently working as a lead CNC programmer at Thompson Manufacturing, located in the suburbs of Michigan, near Detroit. It was during this time that it all began. I've been married to Denise, and I didn't see for 10 years. And despite our modest income, we led a comfortable life. Physically, Denise and I were opposites. She had an amazing figure, long brown hair, and a captivating presence, while I was a skinny, nerdy man with huge glasses, socially awkward and shy. Despite our differences, he was deeply in love with her. The first few years after college were difficult for both of us. Denise was working as a waitress while I was moving up the career ladder quickly, starting with a position in equipment maintenance. As he ascended, my income grew with every promotion. During that time, I tried to keep in touch with my college friends. And over time, our connection with Denise's crew, it became even deeper. Our friendship turned into a romantic relationship, and I realized that I really valued the intimate moments we shared. After a year of noviazgo, it became clear to me that Denise was not only my partner, but also my best friend. The thought of being separated from her was unbearable. When I finally proposed to her, she was stunned, and he wondered why he felt the need to formalize what we already had. In response, blew a brim and heart, expressing my deep love and admiration for her. I couldn't imagine life without her. When he said yes, we got married. After 10 years of marriage, I thought we were happy. We had 2 sons, Bobby, 5, and Johnny, 3, and we were hoping for financial stability to start a bigger family. We had a lovely house with 2 cars and a swimming pool. But over time, we both changed. Denise gained weight and looked like a typical suburban mom. But my love for her remained unwavering. Despite the physical changes, Denise was still the woman I adored and the mother of our children. Our bond was unbreakable, even with the extra weight. My affectionate nature never weakened, and I enjoyed expressing my love in playful ways, and sometimes unconventional. As I became more confident with my appearance, thanks to work and exercise, I started wearing contact lenses. There were many challenges in our relationship, but our love and devotion to each other never diminished. The turning point came during a barbecue that we had in honor of our nanny, Mary Clare Thorpe, who had just graduated with an associate degree in child development. Mary Clare, a quiet but dazzling young woman, he possessed a slim figure that attracted the attention of many. Although she was beautiful, I never felt drawn by her. At the barbecue with our children, Mary Clare, her brother Stuart, and several neighbors present, Denise joked and gave Mary Clare a laptop, suggesting that I had chosen her. Slightly intoxicated, Mary Clare suddenly said, "Mr. Tyler, he's not a nerd. He's attractive. I would have gone out with him instantly." Denise's expression changed, and I realized that a long time ago, that I didn't see myself this way. We were ordinary parents in our 30s, focused on our kids and the mortgage. Denise's perception seemed to have changed after knowing that others found me attractive and realized that she used to consider herself more attractive. This made me want to improve our relationship. We have been focusing so much on family matters that the spark between us had begun to fade. To rekindle our bond, I suggested trying new hobbies. While reading articles about online activities and video games, I thought playing video games with our kids. It could be an exciting and bonding experience. Although I was not a fan of the games, I decided to dive into it and bought the best gaming system, along with several popular games to get you started. Also install a dual monitor system, so Denise and I could play together or against each other. When I took the setup home, Denise looked at me with skepticism. This will liven things up. I explained to him, we can play together, improve our teamwork, or compete for rewards. She asked what rewards. Still not fully understanding, I replied, the winner chooses a fun activity for the loser. Denise laughed. Don't make me sound off, Perry. I'm not going to be easy on you just because it's a game. Why can't you appreciate what you have? I replied, because I want everything from you. His smile, a rare sight these days, flashed for a moment. But the joy was brief. As soon as we started playing, my work experience came into play. I quickly developed the necessary skills. From Moderna video games, stress, quick reflexes, problem solving, and instinct. Denise, on the other hand, struggled to keep up. Our first gaming session was a disaster. Denise kept coming out of the game before she had time to adjust. Frustrated, she threw away the control angrily and left. The next night, Denise and I agreed to set up a friendly offline game. What is the prize? I asked. Not what you expect. He replied with a smile. Not want to take risks. He was determined to win. I beat her 15 times in just 14 minutes. He did not receive affection or even a kiss as a reward. And for the next 2 days, Denise barely spoke to me. Just when I was about to remove the gaming system, I received an exciting phone call from Denise. At the office on Saturday night. What are the plans? I asked. Let's make a bet. He replied, if you win, you'll be able to get closer to me. If I win, you'll have to do something for me. Surprised, I asked him what it caused. This unexpected offer. Denise explained that Mary Clare, Stuart's brother, I had noticed our gaming system, and I was offering game lessons. 410 all the processions, so it's decided. Saturday night would be an evening of games. And high stakes, she concluded. Throughout the week, starting on Monday, we exchanged playful looks and smiles. The energy between us was increasing as Denise, teasing me playfully, knowing that I was focused, to win the next game. Finally, Saturday night came. After putting the kids to bed, Denise and I gave a shower and we meet next to the gaming system, both dressed in bathrobes. We play with termination pharaohs, knowing that the first one to reach 5 points would win. To my surprise, marked the first point quickly, but then Denise took full control, defeating me skillfully 5 times in a row. With a smile, she led me to the bedroom, where I would do what I promised. The next morning, I was going out for a 20-mile run, and the car sees her. When Denise asked me if I wanted to play again, I refused. Instead, I watched how he played with ease, using codes and combinations of cheats, with which I was not familiar. After it was over, I didn't feel like watching anymore. Later, I decided to try playing Unmapped, an adventure game full of confusing puzzles. Denise joined me, but she wasn't doing so well. I realized I needed a rematch, and I scheduled it for the next week. This time, we would play the online version of Unmapped, and the winner would be the one who finds the treasure or cult first. What's the prize this time? Denise asked. Do you already know what I want? I replied, well, this time I want you to repeat what you did at night. I still have a tingling sensation. Resentfully went out to wash the car. And during the week, I spent a lot of time playing Unmapped, immersing myself in the game. I also spent time in online chat rooms to learn more about him. Because each session was unique, Denise could not prepare in advance, which made the competition fairer. When Saturday finally arrived, we took a bath and changed, putting the children to sleep before starting the game. Denise excelled in shooting battles, while I had success solving puzzles. In the end, as we had agreed, she won. I like it when you do that. Perry, he said, expressing his affection. I love you, while we were enjoying the game. He mentioned that it was the best decision we had ever made. I'm glad you're happy, I replied, hiding my true feelings. And the next weekend he asked, what's up with that? I replied, insert. We still have a pending game. He reminded me after examining the game box. I accepted the challenge. Dear son, I said with a smile, this game can be difficult for you. He laughed. If I win, you'll have to do what I want. What would you like if you won? I replied, nothing. I replied, seeing his confusion as he approached, and he was putting his arms around me. But don't you want anything? He asked. No, not anymore, I said. It's been more than a week since we saw each other. You've had your share of excitement. That should be enough. The next day, while completing my 20-mile run, my mind wandered. Washing the coach gave me time to come up with a strategy. For the next Saturday, while Denise was cooking dinner, I decided to explore a little, and I took the opportunity to review some objects in the living room. The next day at work, I used the old nanny cam app. On my computer, many years ago, we had bought nanny cams to keep an eye on Mary Clare. I decided to put one of them on the video game monitor, so I could watch Stuart teaching Denise while I was working on a new program. Today, a conversation between Denise and Stuart. Did you win again? I asked Stuart, smiling. When Denise nodded, he added, unlike her sister, he is a big guy, bald, about 30 years old, with thick glasses and a strong opinion on various topics. Watching him in trainer helped me to understand the situation. I knew it was a hoax, but I needed to figure out how to Denise. She had become so abile. It seemed that Stuart had helped him improve considerably. So, are they going to pay me now? I'm asking Stuart. Denise suggested that Stuart's friend. I would be more comfortable on the terrace, while she was giving the money to Stuart. I had no idea I was actually paying him. Besides, he said, there is no hurry. We have all morning and most of the day. Stuart's friend muttered something as he walked out. As soon as the door slammed shut, Denise dragged Stuart into the living room. I watched in shock as she started to get pleased with him. My heart rate increased, and I quickly turned on the recording. I told my secretary that I had an urgent matter, and I was rushing home. I parked a block away to avoid being discovered and quietly entered through the back door. Inside, I found Stuart and Denise on the dining room table while his friend watched. This is going to be weird, I thought. Hurry up, Denise said. Not that I like it, he said. We have all day, I shouted out loud, causing them to turn around in shock. Denise straightened up, and Stuart almost fell over. Perry, what are you doing here? I asked. Oh, Stuart said in surprise. My anger got the better of me. I walked up to Stuart, and my fist connected with his face, breaking his glasses. I grabbed his shirt to keep him from falling, and I hit him again. Denise, terrified, tried to stop me. Stuart's friend, unfazed, he continued to make it his own. I reacted instinctively, kicking Stuart in the genitals, which made him scream. I pulled Denise off me and hit Stuart's friend on the arm, breaking her wrist. Both men screamed in pain as I turned to face Denise, who was now desperately trying to find clothes. Perry, we need to talk about this, he said. What's there to talk about? I responded angrily. He's been protecting your lover, but next time will be different. Get out of my house, all of you. I don't have a lover, she screams. I was trying to save you from jail. Our children need both parents, and we can't agree. If you just get rid of Stuart. Look at him, he's pathetic. Denise, bet. Take Stuart and his friend with you. I repeated. Stuart was lying on the floor, holding his crotch, with a swollen nose and bleeding, and the pants around the ankles. His friend was crying, trying to unlock the door with one hand. I handed Denise the keys and opened the door for him. She tried to hug me, but I pushed her away. When we talk about this, you'll realize it's not as bad as it seems, he said. I'll be back after I take them to the hospital. No, you're not coming back, I said. Go to your parents or somewhere else. But don't come back here. Have your father pick up your things until the lawyers figure it out. Perry, don't say that. It was a mistake. We will not be one of those divorced families. We'll figure it out. I don't want our children grow up in a single-parent family. I love you. We just need to talk. After slamming the door shut in his face, I didn't waste any time. I immediately called Mary Clare, asking to pick up my kids at school, and I'll take them to my parents' house. I suggested that I might end up behind bars soon, but I did not reveal the reason. I was running to the bank. I emptied my savings account and closed it, leaving the current account intact to avoid suspicion. After consulting with my boss, an experienced divorce veteran, we opened an offshore account to protect my assets. The settlement of the brokerage account resulted in a loss of the 15%, but it was a necessary sacrifice. My boss offered to store the car in his garage, and my secretary walked me to her house. With her in a car. On returning home, I was surprised to see that the police were already there. The officer informed me, "Mr. Tyler, 2 men are in hospital with serious injuries. They don't want to press charges, but we need your version of events." I explained to them that I came home. I found one of the men in bed with my wife, and react instinctively. "Do you have proof?" I asked, noticing that the officers seemed uncomfortable. "Please," I invited them along. I showed them the footage of the incident with Stuart. "Sir, I sympathize with your situation," said the first officer. "Even if they decide not to press charges, we'll need you to come to the center to testify. It won't take long." I replied, "I am ready. I have no problem spending some time there. I have all the documents in order." While I was leaving, I accidentally left the front door key in the lock. Fortunately, the spare key was in the console of my Mustang, parked on the street. I wasn't arrested. Instead, I was taken to an interrogation room, where nor my phone, not even my wallet, they were confiscated from me. While I was waiting, I called Mary Clare, that I had taken my children to their grandparents' house. I expressed my gratitude to him, and then I informed my father about the situation. He decided to call, and they left message on my home phone, saying he would take the boys fishing with my consent. Shortly after, Denise got in touch with me, but I interrupted the call. She tried again, but I hung up. However, when his mother called, I couldn't disconnect it. He asked me to go to the hospital to talk to Denise. I informed him that I could not meet, because he was in custody. Shortly after, Denise inundated me with phone calls, all of which I ignored. 12 minutes later, I told the detective about my situation. While waiting to be released, Denise broke into the station, and he tried to hug me. I walked away quickly, telling him to get out of the way. "We need to figure this out. Honey, I beg. There is nothing to solve." I replied, "Once we get divorced, you could do whatever you want with Stuart or whoever. Perry, you're the only one I need." He insisted. "It's a pity." I replied coldly, "I'm something you can't get back. Perry, we need to talk." He said, "I made mistakes, but I love you. You let that idiot take advantage of you." Exclaim, "I never let him do that to me. I was by your side. I married you and we have kids together. What did he do for you? Did he teach you how to play video games? It ruined our marriage. So your future is with him now? No one has ever laughed at you." He said, "I love you, Perry. Please don't do this to us." "I didn't do it." I replied coldly. "You did it. You've never seen my true nature." I refuse to talk. My lawyer will transmit my demand. "Perry, let's talk civilly." Subtly, I ignored her, covering my ears and singing at the top of my lungs. His face flushed with anger. "Perry, please, don't make me," he warned, taking out his phone and making a call. With a threatening look, he ran out of the room. The detective quickly returned. "Mr. Tyler, we have no choice but to stop him," he informed me. "The people he attacked have decided to press charges. Call me when you're ready to listen to reasons." Denise exclaimed, "I didn't want it to come to this. But you pushed me to the limit," he said. "I had to call the authorities." An hour later, Denise burst into the room. "Perry, where are the children?" he sued. I kept quiet. "Perry, you're overstepping the mark. Not everything is as it seems. I need the key to the back door. The front door is jammed. I beg." "Denise, the house is registered in my name. I don't want you to come in." I replied, "I'm begging you, please. I want to give you whatever you want if it's important to you." "No way." I replied, "I don't want this anymore. I want to get rid of you and start over with someone that he values me enough to be faithful." His gaze sharpened. "Perry, I love you. Please don't make me act." He warned me. "The lawyer informed me that I could get your house, the majority of your income, your retirement savings, and child support, and you'd end up in a shelter. I will plead guilty and accept a prison sentence." I said with a smile. "You're angry and offended." He replied, "You will regret missing this opportunity. I won't regret it. I replied, I don't care anymore. Someone else influenced you. She laughed. It was never about anyone else. Explain. I've loved you since college. I didn't care about your past, because I thought we'd be together forever. Tears glistened in her eyes. Perry had no idea you felt this way. I thought you just settled for me, because you couldn't find anyone else. But it doesn't matter anymore. We're getting a divorce. I said, Perry, please. Think about it again. Sutlical. Neither of us will be happy. Go to hell, Denise. I replied. He left, and I stayed in front of the guard, who informed me that Denise was paying my bail. Should I accept it? I asked. You can refuse her, but that would be stupid. I advised myself. I don't need anything from her. I said. Denise came back and asked why I wanted to stay. Do we need to talk? He insisted. I don't want to talk to anyone. I answered, calling the guard. This woman is bothering me. I don't want him to visit me. The guard quickly escorted her out. Despite their protests, I felt a twinge of guilt, but I stood firm in my decision. The next day, my favorite guard informed me that someone wanted to meet with me. I don't want to see my wife. I replied, it's not her. He clarified, do you want me to bring her or send her home? Send her home. I answered without hesitation. When he was approaching, I heard whistles and screams. Mary Clare entered the room with the air of a realist. You really ruined my brother's life, he said. Denise was furious. I explained the situation to Mary Clare, and his eyes got bigger. I'm very sorry, he replied. I can't believe my brother would behave like this. His time at the university is over. Why? Ask. Because the dean doesn't like Stuart. He's been on a tightrope for a long time. This incident was the straw that broke the camel's back. He's definitely being kicked out. He's going to live in my parents' basement. Sigh. Can you imagine still living with your parents at that age? He surrounded himself with Lord of the Rings posters and spent the time playing Dungeons and Dragons with other outcasts. The thought made me laugh. Well, I came to help you, Mary Clare said. Why? Ask. Why is that what friends do? She answered timidly. Mary Clare, don't you have that much money? I commented. It's my tuition money. He replied. I can't let him do that. I insisted. I'll ask the guards to give you my bank card. Thank you. It really means a lot, he said with a smile and a nod. So, could you have freed yourself at any time? He asked. I nodded. Then why didn't you do it? He asked. Explain 3 reasons. Dennis really wanted me to leave. My presence here caused him remorse, and I kept her from talking to me. In addition, he had previous commitments, and staying here gave me access to free lunches. And finally, before you came, I had no motivation to leave. She smiled and contributed to my release. The guard asked, is this what the other woman tried to help you solve at night? What makes her different from the others? He answered cheerfully, I like this woman better. Mary Clare took me to rent a car, and we had breakfast while I talked about all the details. During my time in prison, Dennis talked to Stuart, and he managed to find a ruthless lawyer in an attempt to either bring me back or destroy me. Mary Clare hugged me with comfort, expressing their willingness to help. I assured him gratefully that his presence alone was enough to support me. I decided to go to my house to pick up some things from the garage. When I got there, I met Dennis and his lawyer getting out of the car. Why did you let another woman take you out and not me? If you're Dennis with rage. I politely introduced myself before his lawyer, who remained educated. Do you no longer have access to the house? Explain. Dennis will need judicial permission to collect their belongings. I will organize it soon. Thank you, he said. It's a fair request. I didn't expect this. I screamed, Dennis, stop ignoring me and answer my questions. The neighbors were watching what was happening. I kept insisting. Were you expecting screams and fights? That's not who I am. Dennis has not been either until now. You will receive legal documents soon. Here is my mobile number to coordinate. Don't you live in this house? His lawyer asked. I sold it. I replied. I'm the only owner. If we can't live here as a family, then there is no point in keeping it. His eyes opened when Dennis began to cry. Could you answer their questions before I completely collapsed? He asked. Dennis raised his head with tears running down his face. Mary Clare, help me with the checking account. There is no other woman. You were the only one for 10 years until you destroyed it. But we can still have everything we ever wanted. He supplicated. I let my competitiveness take over. Not Dennis. I answered firmly. We can't go back. I can't forget what I saw, and I can't trust you anymore. Are you absolutely sure? We can talk about this. He asked in a soft tone. Maybe you will have an opinion over time. Don't I think so? I replied. We can at least sit down and discuss our differences. As reasonable people. He suggested. I would like that. I replied. Meet me at the park at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Why in a park? He asked. In case the situation escalates, explain. This is a public place where we can both leave if necessary. That's fine. See you later, he said. I got in a rental car and called my boss to update him. Don't be fooled. His lawyer warned him. He is interested in your finances and retirement savings. Do not deviate from the path. See Las Vegas immediately if she decides to sue. Our actions may be under scrutiny. I share the information I received from Denise's lawyer with my own lawyer, who laughed and reminded me. He is obliged to report all the information you provide. Ignoring him, I replied. My priority is to take care of my children. When I was walking to the park, don't you know that Denise was sitting on a bench at the entrance? I sat down in front of her. I speak softly. It feels like it's been forever since you walked into the kitchen, and you touched me while I was cooking. Now it's as if he has some kind of illness. He continued to compensate. Perry, everything went so wrong. I feel that there is something wrong inside me. I behaved inappropriately, and I deeply regret what I did. I blamed you at first, thinking that if you hadn't brought the game home, none of this would have happened. But I realize now that I was just trying to hold on to what we once had. I loved you more than anything in the world, Perry. I couldn't stay and do nothing. I understand now, he continued, but you don't see the whole picture. You are a handsome man, and I feel happy being with you. Do you remember 10 years ago? I was the only one who made you look. People were asking me why I chose you. Men have been flirting with me behind your back, but it was never given. I needed a long-term relationship, not just a passing adventure. I didn't want to end my life like those lonely old women, that they only have one cat in a small apartment. I looked at the women who seemed the happiest, who had homes, families, and husbands who adored them. I realized that the main difference was love. None of the men I was with took as much care of me as you did. That's why I courted you, and I'm grateful for it. But now the dynamics have changed. You become more attractive. I have become a mother with a changing body, but I still maintain the image of the confident woman I once was. Lately, I feel invisible while other women often comment on your attractiveness. 3 months ago at the celebration in honor of Mary Clare, I began to understand something. It became clear to me how little you depended on me. You didn't do anything wrong, Perry. It was my own insecurity that made me distance myself from you. Even though you were the same kind and cheerful person, I felt the need to establish control and push you away. I convinced myself that you don't have what I needed, even if you did your best to take care of us and maintain our relationship. Your idea of the video game was fantastic, but my behavior ruined everything. I misinterpreted your actions as an attempt to establish power over me, when in reality, it was a gesture of love and the desire to restore our relationship. When you explained the reasons for your desire, I realized my stupidity. I couldn't imagine the depth of your love for me. The incident with Stuart hurt you, and I never wanted that. I just focused on winning the game against you. The situation escalated when Stuart and I were left alone playing. We talked about the bet, and he offered to split the winnings. Your reaction when I won the first time made me feel incredibly special. But I misinterpreted your lack of interest and intimacy afterwards as if you were saving your strength for the next day's race. I felt an obligation to thank Stuart for his help. Art was determined to win again, although I knew it would be more difficult this time. He offered to use physical force in the game, but I refused. In the end, I realized that I couldn't win without cheating and reluctantly agreed. Stuart had a cheat code that gave me unlimited health. I saw you solve the puzzles legally, and I used a cheat code to avoid them. Without much effort, I came out victorious, shooting everyone in a row, while you had to think carefully about your strategy. When you revealed our hoax on Monday, I was shocked. It seemed unreal, as if it was just part of the game. None of this was worth the pain and disappointment I caused you. We need to find a way to move on and figure out how I can fix the situation with you. Denise started. The only thing I've always wanted is our relationship, and now it seems that everything is over. You loved me when I was a weirdo with big glasses. I loved you until I saw you with Stuart. Appearance doesn't really matter. I fell in love with a woman who smiled at me and accepted me when others made fun of me. You turned him down with Stuart. We have to decide what is best for the children and solve the custody issue. Perry, this is not the conversation I was expecting, she replied. He comes here to find out how we can be together again. She starts to think again, invent something to solve it. She got upset again, raising her voice. I'm sorry, Denise, but this is too much for me. If you act like a witch and scream, it won't help. We will never regain trust. The best thing we can do is be parents together and maybe one day be friends when the pain calms down. Pads shouted together, getting up and looking around. I don't want to be your friend. I'll give you 2 days to get your thoughts in order or we'll start a war. If you push me, I will not hesitate to take everything from you. Your money, your savings, the house, and even your car. She screamed so loudly that the audience couldn't take their eyes off her. In just 2 days, Perry, you'll either be lying in our bed or you'll be left alone with a divorce. Messy, the mining in a shelter, surviving with Quintuna, and working tirelessly too. Me the rest of your days. And I'll probably be with Stuart or someone else just to annoy you. And when you finally retire, I'll take most of your pension funds, leaving you with nothing. Do you understand me now? If I find out you're with another woman, I'll destroy you. He groaned, then angrily threw down the bench and left. I decided to escape from this drama and went to Las Vegas that afternoon. I checked into a luxury hotel. Proves luck at gambling, and the next morning, I got a visit. Unexpected. The man handed me a folder indicating that he had lost almost $200,000. Confused, I asked where the money came from. Smiling explained that I had sold my house, withdrawn my retirement savings, and then I knew it was wasted on the game. He claimed that my boss, Justin, who was actually his cousin, had organized the whole scheme as revenge for losing a large amount to his ex-wife. Our cousin is staying with you this summer, so make sure everything is ready before the kids go back to school. He said. I accepted, feeling satisfied, and decided to extend my stay in Las Vegas by 1 more day. I enjoyed the show, the delicious food, and flirted with several women in preparation for possible future appointments. The unexpected confrontation happened earlier than I expected. Upon returning the next morning, I informed Justin about the situation and expressed my gratitude. My dad was supposed to bring the kids that day. I was surprised that Denise was never interested in children. Arriving at the company parking lot, my thoughts about my Mustang filled my mind. Suddenly, Denise, the lawyer, and another man came up to us, followed by Denise. Well, shall we go home? He exclaimed in a raspy voice. I just smiled and shook my head. Anger flashed in Denise's eyes, and her face turned red with disappointment. The man who was with them handed me a folder and announced, "You have been notified." Denise's lawyer looked distressed, explaining, "I know it's not the best way to solve the problem, but your wife insisted on it. It seemed to me an unexpected attack. Maybe you should invite your lawyer to my office so we can discuss and civilize the possibility of reaching an agreement or dividing the property." Denise's tone was harsh when she warned me. "When you are ready for a rational conversation, I could make this situation disappear. Your trial date on assault charges is coming up, but I have a chance to make that go away too." He looked at me with an arrogant expression. "Anyway, I'll be back at my place soon." Later that day, I met with Denise, her lawyer, and our teams. Denise took Stuart and his friend with her, led with Justin's new friend, which made Stuart will visibly show. Worried, "Are you ready to admit defeat?" Denise asked. "Let's get started," I replied. The lawyer representing Denise said, "We are demanding a divorce for mental cruelty." I laughed, making everyone pay attention to me. "That is so funny." Denise, the lawyer, asked. "Let's go back a minute," I suggested. "Your client practically begged me to stay married. It seems that I have been violent." Myria Denise, whose face was red with rage. Denise, I thought I was going to file a statement of irreconcilable differences. Was willing to accept this to avoid embarrassment and protect the reputation of Stuart. But if you're going to respond with nonsense, I'll have to get something out of the truth. I changed my counterclaim to an accusation of infidelity. Lawyer Denise looked stunned. "You didn't know this, did you?" I asked him. Your client didn't tell you the reason for our divorce, did he? This is a blameless state. You don't have any proof, do you? Tart mouthed in response. Sakami iPhone and turned on the video recording of the nanny's cameras. His eyes widened as he looked at them. Then he looked at Denise. I need to talk to my client. We left again. They went outside and we heard raised voices. Stuart looked visibly worried when they returned. Her lawyer suggested that we could file for divorce based on irreconcilable differences. I'm not so sure about that anymore. I replied, after everything she's put me through, maybe it's time for everyone to see their true heads. But let's leave that for now. Let's focus on your request. My client wants to keep the house and primary custody of the children. The lawyer listed the terms of the divorce agreement. Child support, maintenance with legal, his car, 60% of savings and current accounts, investments, and half of your retirement package. He also offered counseling for the couple to overcome their differences. I laughed at the absurdity of it all. The lawyer looked at me confused and asked, "What's so funny?" I explained that finding the woman I loved with another man had changed me. I just wanted to finish the job and start from scratch. I said, so I turned down the offer. Denise asked for more information by asking, "What have you done in response to the betrayal?" "I blessed my house before you file for divorce." "Confess." "I went into our savings account thinking I could triple the money in Vegas and to pay you, but I lost everything." "How much have you lost?" His lawyer asked me. "Every last one sat with fees. I even know the casino. Thousands of dollars." "What about the pension fund?" "I'm sure my client is entitled to something." The lawyer insisted. "He was not fully insured." "Explain." I quit in anger. "So it's worth very little." I had to sell the car to start paying money to the casino. We only have Denise's car, for which we're still paying the loan. I don't know how we're going to be able to afford them without having a job or a place to live. The children to whom Denise never showed much concern will stay with my parents. "Are you a fool?" I was criticizing Denise. "What I did was stupid, but what you did is even worse." His lawyer asked, "Are you going to therapy to try to save your marriage?" "No," I replied to him. Denise crossed her arms. "What should I do now? Are you going to fight me for custody?" He asked, "Why can't we just make the passes? We both made mistakes." She said, "No, Denise, you made a mistake." I told him. I just reacted. She started crying and insulting me. "He won't be able to find a job if I'm in prison." "Explain." "If you agree to work on saving our marriage, Stuart will be told to back out." She suggested, "Don't you worry about that?" I replied, "Stuart has more problems than I do. The man I brought with me is the dean of Stuart College. If Stuart doesn't drop the charges, he will be expelled." But she told me that Stuart protested. He wanted me to drop the charges. She said, but he threatened to accuse me of assaulting him if I did. Over the next 48 hours, Stuart and I negotiated and finally came to an agreement. He decided to drop the charges and Denise and I mutually agreed. We decided to divorce because of irreconcilable differences. We got a job. We shared joint custody of the children and found our own apartments, using the remaining funds from our common checking account, which we closed. We divide our children's expenses equally between us. Denise got a job as a waitress, which turned out to be difficult after 10 years without working and significant weight gain. I tried to be understanding when he complained about his job for a couple of months. In general, our new relationship seemed to be smooth. One morning, I called Denise to share the news that the woman who bought the old house was selling. I told her about my plan to get a mortgage and buy it back. To my surprise, Denise started crying. "I'm very sorry," Denise said with a shaky voice. "I thought it would be good for the boys. They will have their old rooms, and you'll be able to visit them often. They can still stay with you once every 2 weeks, but they will benefit from a house with a garden, pets, and a swimming pool. That's not the important thing." Denise said, "I found out yesterday that I'm pregnant." I was surprised by the unexpected news. "We are going to cope with 3 children as well as we cope with 2. I assured him, trying to sound confident in our ability to handle the addition to the family. "If we were still together, it would be great news," she said. "But you don't understand. The time is not right. I wish this baby was yours, but it's not. I feel like my life is falling apart." "Have you told Stuart yet?" I asked. "I'm going to tell you today," she replied. "But Perry doesn't need to know. No one knows. We can't just interrupt noise." We fooled ourselves too much already. Look where he's taken us. But I don't want to be with him. I subtract her. I want to be with you. Denise said, that's not possible at the moment. I told him, the future is uncertain, as we have seen in our own experience. A year ago, I could not have imagined that we would be living separately or facing the reality is that you are carrying someone else's child. It all started with that video game. Video games have ruined my life. She said, but I cannot agree with that statement. I answered him sadly, not to honey. It's not about the games. It was your decisions that got us here. In the months that followed, our situation became a mixture of improvements and setbacks. My summer neighbors returned to their home state. In fact, the moment that allowed me to become the owner of the house again. The events that occurred served as a shocking reminder of how quickly it can be life-changing and how important it is to take responsibility for your actions. Denise informed Stuart about the baby, but he refused to recognize it as his, and he initiated a trial. Happily, Denise during her pregnancy until a DNA test confirmed the father of the child. As Denise's pregnancy progressed, she found it difficult to take care of her children, so they moved in to live with me permanently. Denise continued to visit them regularly. I managed to convince Mary, who used to be around the house a lot, to move in with me, and he took care of the children full-time. She adjusted her school schedule for the fall to take into account her needs. Denise was fired from her job due to her pregnancy, and Stuart, fixer-upper, he allowed her to move into his basement. This decision was strongly influenced by his parents, who expected conances, the arrival of her first grandchild. At the same time, there was a tension between Stuart and Denise, as they constantly argued. Meanwhile, Mary, who was always supportive of me, began to take on a more traditional role as wife. Not only did she take care of my children, but she also made those I was spending time with Stuart. Surprisingly, it was Mary who finally decided to store the gaming system in the garage. When I returned home one day, I was surprised to find him missing. The living room had been transformed. A sofa and an armchair for lovers were positioned in front of a screen TV. Flat, making the most intimate atmosphere to watch family movies. Put the meats on the grill, Mary instructed me when I hesitated. In an empty place, everyone is waiting for you, he added. The kids won't be able to swim until we go out to watch a movie, and I bought a pirated DVD of the Avengers to watch after dinner. Before I could finish my question, he crossed the room and dropped me, putting on a finger on the lips. In past few months now, it's time to move on, she said softly, looking at the object that always brought me sadness. I noticed that Mary Clare was wearing a bathing suit with one of my t-shirts on it, and the perfume. It filled the air. For the first time in months, I felt my anger towards Denise starting to dissipate. The evening turned out to be a perfect evening, a real family evening, something that had not experienced in what seemed like an eternity. Ever since Denise started distancing herself from me and the kids, she had been desperately trying, rebuilding our broken relationship. When the kids settled on the couch with popcorn, I felt a surge of satisfaction. Mary Clare and I sat in the armchair, snuggling and enjoying the contact, comforting to each other. She hugged me around the waist, rested her head on my shoulder, and sighed contentedly. Despite my initial doubts, I couldn't deny that I felt comfortable hugging in the sofa with this young and beautiful woman who showed a genuine interest for me. As I continued to long for my cheating wife, my thoughts were interrupted. Because of the irony of the situation, we didn't kiss that night, but just sitting together holding each other was enough to distract myself from a movie playing in the background. When the season changed from late summer to autumn, Mary Clare and the children returned to school. We rarely saw Denise, only when we tried to visit her and her new family. The pregnancy seemed to be wearing Denise out, and she often blamed my absence. Stuart is completely useless, he growled. He's going to be the worst father imaginable. I understand frustration and loneliness, was wondering why a 36-year-old pregnant woman. She was forced to sleep in a basement with nothing she could call her own. Denise felt more and more bitter and hurt. It seemed that the kind and caring woman I had known had disappeared. Mary Clare and Stuart's parents often explained their situation to her with dignity. but I wasn't getting it. Throughout our relationship, I had always tried to make Denise happy without giving her nothing to complain about. But when I tried to reconcile with her, she let out her bitterness on purpose. Denise and Stuart kept fighting, getting involved in each other's problems. Denise took offense to Stuart for, in her opinion, destroying her marriage and lifestyle. Stuart, for his part, felt Denise had taken away his social life and his meetings of Dungeons and Dragons. Stuart's parents were tired of supporting him. Over time, his father began to convince him to treat Denise better, warning him that, without the child, he would have been kicked out of the house. Despite this, Stuart's parents continued to treat my children as if they were their own grandchildren. Every time we visited with Mary Clare and the kids would happily run to Stuart's parents for hugs and treats. But as Stuart's parents were exchanging complicit glances with Mary Clare and me, making my daughter blush. One day, when we were all gathered on the back porch discussing some topic exciting, the atmosphere became tense. Mary Clare's father called us inside, frustrated. While the kids were running around the lawn with his wife, a light conversation started. "So, Mary Clare, he knows that you can't." "Yes, Papa," she answered gently. "Perry knows I can't have kids. He doesn't care." Smiling, he asked, "So, when they get married?" Mary Clare blushed, as usual. "Dad, we're not." Before I could finish, he pointed at us. "So why are they always shaking hands and all that?" He sawed. "I just don't want it to get lost." She explained. "This porch is quite big." He said. "Yes, I understand," she replied. "It's actually surprising that no one has ever been lost here. Maybe I should put up a sign so this doesn't happen," he suggested, provoking laughter in the group. Despite the light moment, Mary Clare and I are still holding hands. "I invited myself because I'm tired," he continued. "Mary, you're 25 years old. You have an associate's degree. You are working towards your bachelor's degree. You have a job and an apartment that you no longer live in. You have a family and a man who loves you. Don't deny it. Perry," I've seen the way they look at each other. "I'm proud of you, Mary Clare," he said softly, touching her cheek. "But I also want to be proud of your brother," he added, and irritated. "He is 32 years old. She behaves like a teenager and has been studying at the university for 14 years. I'm tired of keeping it up. I'm giving up on him, and I need your help. Mary Clare, I can sublet your apartment to your brother and Dennis. I don't want my grandson to live in this basement. It seems Salerno to you. Then, Stuart, as your brother-in-law, you could help him find a job at your company. Even if it's just sweeping the floors, I should be able to contribute something." At that moment, a heavily pregnant Dennis came out of the house, holding a piece of paper in his hands and shouting curses. Mary Clare quickly covered the children's ears to protect them from the rude, and he reminded Dennis that children should not hear such words. Overcome with emotion, Dennis T. Joka was the newspaper and Mary Clare's parents. They intervened to comfort her. I was stunned when I read the note, feeling a mixture of surprise and disbelief. After a quick checkup, I was asking Mary Clare to take the kids inside, and I brought them drinks. He offered them a soda, which made her eyes light up with delight. As soon as they were out of earshot, I started reading the note in voice. "Hi, Dennis, I can't take it anymore. I'm sorry I ran into you. You were a complete nightmare, and you have completely ruined my life. I don't understand why Perry was so upset about losing you. I realize now that I actually did him a favor. She took her time to replace you with my own sister. She was always partial to him." A party, despite being very intoxicated, Mary Clare was telling the truth. Now she has the perfect life and the man she always wanted, the one who used to be yours. While she was happily living her dream, I had to face a nightmare in form of a complicated woman. My parents took the liberty of moving you to the basement without consulting me and tried to force to have a relationship I didn't want. It was not what I imagined. I didn't feel like having a child or a wife, especially you. I was not attracted by your appearance or your character, and even if I had feelings for you, which is not the case, I could never have trusted you. Perry, on the other hand, was a handsome man with a stable job who really cared for you. You were unfaithful to him. How can I believe you won't do the same to me? I doubt the paternity of the child, since the aliens used my DNA for some kind of experiment. I refuse to kill myself working like Perry or my dad. I'm too smart for that. Therefore, with a light heart, I am leaving and looking for a better life somewhere else. Don't try to find me, because I won't be where you expect. To let my father know that he can be happy now. I finally got out of his basement. Sincerely, Stuart. Denise burst into tears when I finished reading. Despite her parents' attempts to calm her down, Denise remained heartbroken. It seemed to him that life itself punishes those who do evil. But despite the lies and deception, in the end, everything fell into place. There were several obstacles on the way, but they managed to overcome them. I was addressing the couple and asked them a question asking if they were interested in buying a game system. The woman hesitated and the man began to show signs of agreement. At that moment, his attention was attracted by a woman who came out of the house, followed by 2 children. "My son, Johnny, wants to go to the pool," she said, picking him up and kissing him on the nose. "You'll have to wait a while, Johnny. Did you just have lunch?" It reminded him. The boy called her affectionately, "Mom. Are you and your wife together again?" What did the woman ask herself? Doesn't it seem to me that this fat lady was on a strict diet before? Before I could respond, a ruined Lugo with rust and damage to the bodywork. He entered the garden. He could hardly move. The cracked windshield and uneven wheels gave the impression that the car was overloaded. A woman who was not conventionally attractive and was heavier got out of the car, leaving. The engine is on. An even bigger and heavier man, with no chin and huge glasses, came out from the side of the passenger and started inspecting the products at my garage sale. Both of them immediately noticed the gaming system. "I divorced her," I said to the couple, nodding towards the woman who had just got out of the car. "This is Denise. I wonder what's bothering him this time." We watched as Denise frantically searched my garden until she found a bat from baseball. She reached into her purse and pulled out several arranged bills, which she immediately handed to Mary. "Claire, here's $50, he announced, his voice resonating. "These are mine, right?" Mary Clare smiled and nodded in agreement, but Stuart's reaction was far from. "Calm down." "No," he shouted, hysterical. "Go to hell," Denise replied defiantly. "I bought this garbage and now it belongs to me." With a menacing look in his eyes, he picked up the bat and started hitting relentlessly. The gaming system, turning it into a bunch of plastic fragments and circuits. Scattered prints. Panting with pleasure, Denise vented all her anger, screaming, "Do you think you can ruin my life? Think about it again." With each blow, he took revenge on the inanimate object that had caused him such disappointment. "I think you'll have to buy something else," she smiled. "I think the game system has already been sold." "Wait," said the woman. "I see now that you marry Mary Clare, but how did Denise and Stuart end up together?" Again, we sat down at the table again, and I told them the rest of the story. Unexpected things happened in the following months. Denise gave birth to a girl who, unfortunately, looks a lot like Stuart. DNA confirmed paternity. They still live in the basement with their daughter, but they are not alone. A month after the birth of the girl, Stuart turned to his parents in despair. Exhausted all his funds and got into trouble less than 100 miles from home after getting caught stealing food. Things got worse when he tried to hide from the sheriff and accidentally went to an officer, which led to a felony charge. Stuart's parents had to pay a large sum to free him. Now Stuart, Denise, and their daughter Betty live unhappily in the basement. Denise rarely communicates with the children, as they are afraid of her now, so they call to Mary Clare mom. Shortly after the wedding, Stuart went to prison, which only made his situation worse. With a crime on his record, finding a job became a difficult task. Denise, acting as a vigilante, supervised the circus' every move. Despite their constant quarrels, Stuart's parents insisted on their marriage too. Let your daughter carry on her last name. But now, a glimmer of hope appeared on the horizon. Denise got a job as a waitress, although the minimum wage barely covers her expenses. Normally, waitresses receive decent tips, but due to the brusque behavior of Denise, she is often left empty-handed. Despite this, he recently managed to buy Stuart a lawnmower. He spends his days mowing lawns in the neighborhood, often competing with other guys. Premises for jobs. Despite this, he has more serious plans. After earning a bachelor's degree in marketing, she intends to expand your range of services to include winter snow removal and leaf raking. In the autumn, while he was working, Mary Clare came over with another batch of Pepsi in her hands. She bent down to kiss him. Then he returned to the group of nearby boys. One of the men asked him if he had been successful, to which Stuart nodded in response. Pointed out that buying the gaming system had been a reasonable decision, reflecting about how it was justified. At that moment, Denise's car stopped, which led to an unexpected turn of events. After stopping his attack on the gaming system, he tried to start the car, but he found with his persistent refusal to function. Disappointed and stunned, she started banging on the steering wheel, with tears running down her face. "What a great story," I said, and once again, I convinced myself that it's better to be a faithful spouse and value your marriage. Solid. The unbelievers always get what they deserve. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, my friend, so you don't miss the next story. And I say goodbye to you. May the force be with you.